Hi, everyone. Welcome to our very first Heads of X, Heads of Product conference. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Anna, and we are Epic Events, the organizer of today's event. Epic Events produces premier events at the nexus of technology, startups, and investors, specializing in frontier tech and bleeding edge technologies like AR, AI, and blockchain. Our mission at Epic Events is to ignite ideas and expose technologies that will underpin future society. Heads of X is our new global technology conference series, bringing top minds and highly sought after industry leaders across a wide array of subject matter expertise. Other events in our series include Heads of Engineering, Design, Data Science, Digital Marketing, Sales, Operations, and People. Today, we kick off with Heads of Product, the most exciting product management conference to bring together top practitioners of product who will condense their most impactful insights into bite-sized keynote presentations and a panel. Our schedule is broken down into 3 segments and an exclusive VIP networking session. All right, next up, we've got Manisha Gupta from Oracle.
Okay, you can hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. And do you see my screen okay, Anna?
Yes.
Okay, thanks a lot. Well, in the interest of time, I'll just start quickly. So, hey everyone, I lead the HCM Analytics product for Oracle. And just a sec, I think I forgot to turn my video on, so let me do that. All right, hey everyone. So I lead the HCM Analytics product for Oracle. Today, we will walk through a framework that I've developed over the years. It's primarily based on experience, some books I've read, mentors' advice that I got earlier in my career journey, and also some mistakes I've made. So this framework was developed initially to coach my team on how to create value for customers and through that for our products, even when nothing seems clear. And I hope that all of you also find some value from it. All right, so our primary goal when we are talking to customers and creating product is to solve problems for our customers or to create new opportunities for our target customers. I mean, for example, Uber made the business traveler's life easier. Similarly, for Oracle HR Analytics products, our goal is to help businesses hire, retain, and grow their employees while growing their business. So when my team and I front load our days with customer meetings quite a bit, where we listen very intently to understand their needs. Their needs could be shaped in terms of problems they're facing today, complexities in their business models, competitive pressures, it may be business pressures. We also try to understand their team strengths and aspirations. We try to understand their business model as much as possible. And we also try to understand the expectations from our products that they have. And these could be buyers or users we are working with, right? So very, very important to understand the customer needs. And as Ken also mentioned earlier, it's important to not just understand the customer needs, but to understand the customer's unmet needs. While we're doing it, the other thing I keep in mind is to look for wow factors. So not just what they want to solve, but what they would get super excited about. And these wow factors honestly give us the bragging rights. You know, they'll talk on social media about how amazing your product is because in the end, that amazing product made them feel amazing about themselves. So first step is that. So step 1. Now, as soon as we have developed a deeper understanding of the customer needs, our goal now is to understand and visualize what the minimum wow scope for the product would look like. Basically, we cluster the needs into 3 buckets. I look for low-hanging fruits, which our design and development team is able to deliver quickly. We also look for must-haves. Without these, the product will likely not sell. And even if it gets sold, because we have a strong sales team, it probably will not get used. And if it's not used, guess what? It will not get renewed, right? So we will not be able to deliver success. The third bucket often is the one which is not important. But these topics tend to be very interesting features we just love talking about. They may be important for maybe a small population, couple of users here and there. They might find it exciting and interesting, but they definitely are not the problems that are worthy enough for customers to pay uh, for a fixed form. So even if my product is full of those features, the likelihood of it getting sold or being used, not that high. So we avoid them. Then we analyze these three clusters that we have created: the low-hanging fruits, the must-haves, and the not important, to create a bundle of features, primarily that addresses at least one or few must-haves and as many low-hanging fruits as we are able to deliver. The important thing to note here is even if you deliver a small scope, that scope should be high quality. The quality of our initial releases often plays a very big factor in deciding the fate in the market, especially in today's economy where it's a SaaS model, every day new products are popping up. So do less, but do right and do with high quality. Not only will you win the customer's confidence, you will also avoid your team's burnout, which is very key because you'll have a next release coming up soon. So that's one, unmet needs, and then we are reviewing those needs to create the high quality initial product or release for that matter. Now the next step is sequencing our early adopters. Once we have bundled the features and sequenced the releases, we have to look for the right early adopters who would benefit from the product that we have scoped. Our goal here is to be very intentional about customer selection. Now with startups, you can not necessarily always choose, and we have to work with anyone who agrees to give us a chance, honestly, and I've done that journey as well. With larger firms like Oracle, it's easier though, and we have a little bit more flexibility of choice in terms of customers. In this step, we normally look for customers similar in some aspect and different in other. So for example, to build a complex product like HCM analytics for for Oracle right now, I know that we have a very robust GTM engine here, right? Sales, marketing, everyone, big team, huge team, very creative team. They can reach out to a variety of customers. But on the other hand, the product itself is so complex when you're dealing with analytics and ML and AI and data science and so many use cases, so many data sources, super complex, right? So for this, my tech team needs time to ramp up. So I would look for customers similar in their tech needs, but diverse in their business models. So it could be one customer in US, one in Germany, one in B2B, another in B2C, one in retail, another in consulting. And while the tech team is ramping up on the tech stack, we as PMs get to learn a lot of other aspects of product management, which is, again, it's essential to drive success for the product. So in this journey, instead of waiting for the product to get released, we release very small scope very early. And now we start focusing on positioning and pricing and placement, all other important aspects of product management. In the next tranche, when we pick up the next set of early adopters, we'll probably flip it. So now I might go for one specific industry, only on retail, for example, and give my tech team a chance to play with different, tech requirements so they can start beefing up their tech stack once the baseline or the foundation is laid out. So that's step 3. I'm going to quickly move on. We have few more minutes. So step 4, nothing succeeds like success, right? Even though you have understood the requirements, you've clustered them, you have a release out now, you have figured out a few of your early adopters with whom you've started working, it's not successful until it is seen as successful by a bunch of our customers. So our next focus now is to convert a few of these initial customers bright green on the dashboard. It is possible that some of the early customers may find the product not yet ready and grade it as a red or a yellow. Our goal is to, in due course, turn all of them green, of course, as soon as possible. But the key thing to remember is a few greens early on is much higher leverage as a product manager than all yellows across all the dashboards. When think of it like the NPS score, you need a few high scores, the 8s and the 9s and the 10s. You don't want to be only in the 6s and the 7s, right? Because that would not help you create a positive sentiment. So we think creatively out of the box. It's okay to take shortcuts for a few customers. We are hand-holding them anyways right now. Even a very nasty if then else statement, doesn't scale, but it absolutely runs flawlessly for the initial few customers. And by the time you understand what the customer needs are, we will have enough time and hopefully enough resources to earn the right to stay relevant and then scale up and fix these problems, right? So I'm not saying create a lot of problems for yourself, but be creative as much as possible, because our goal is to get a few customers green as soon as possible. So that's 4. You understand the customer's needs. You figure out a small scope which is high quality, will wow them. You sequence the right adopter who will find value in it. So fit the right triangle with the right dots in the product. They find meaning in it. And then convert a few of them like super green. It's almost like fitting the customer with the few of the features that you've released, making them super successful with your product. The next step now is to get a reference customer. So once you've actually bent backwards to convert the customer green on your dashboard, work with them personally, like literally step up, not just through your sales or marketing team, but work with them personally, get on calls with them to ensure that they start using the product to drive their business on a day-to-day basis, or meet the goals or the initial success criteria that they had laid out. You don't just look for like a tick mark, yeah, it's done. You want them to be engaged with the product on an ongoing basis, depending on the product, of course. Let your contacts manager know how much you appreciate your contacts' work. Appreciate them publicly, maybe on your LinkedIn profile even. Thank them for all their efforts in helping you, because let's be real, without their inputs, even if it was high pressure zones, your product would not have been as successful as it is today. And you want them to come back and engage with you and give you feedback again and again and again, so your product becomes better and better. So once they start running their business on a day-to-day basis, they feel appreciated and thanked, request them for a public endorsement. No matter how much you or your team, or me and my team, we speak highly and we feel confident about our product. I mean, no matter how many customers we have using the product, the impact of a customer sharing their success stories trumps everything, right? So recently we released a product. We had some early customers, and one of the customers we worked with, we ended up doing a few very public facing podcasts, and Wendy, thanks to her, she actually kept me on my toes initially and then helped me make the product stronger and then gave a public endorsement, right? And it goes a long way, much further than any of us talking about the product. So very quickly, we've stepped to the 5 steps: unmet needs, maximizing the quality, then sequencing the early adopters. We've figured out a couple of them. Hopefully they're bright green, very happy, and they are now ready to give customer references publicly to us. Once we have done that, we reflect on each of the customer's journey towards turning them green. And these, because we have picked up different shapes of customers at different tranches, there's a lot of learning here. The key thing now to understand is we have to switch our gear, right? So far we have been going in a high touch and low volume zone. Few customers, handheld, you could afford to do a call regularly with them, etc. Your team could be engaged. Your dev team might, jump and fix a couple of bugs for them here and there, but that cannot scale, right? So now we have to switch to low touch and high volume. In some of our firms, there is a separate role for product management. These are called growth PMs. We also have them for certain products. But essentially, the key thing here is we have to find ways to drive success for a higher volume of customers without a high touch attitude. And there's many techniques: automation, documentation, process templates, etc., etc. Many ways to achieve this. So that's 6. So those are the 6 steps, basically. When nothing was clear, we don't know which customer to go after, what needs to go for, how to shape up the product, how do you start resonating the success, not just inside, but even externally, so other customers get excited about it. You draw a virality, get some reference customers, and then eventually scale. So now you're kind of setting up for that hockey stick, hopefully with public facing stories, as well as a scaled up tech platform and more features to go on, right? So what we have done in these 6 steps is not just created value, but while creating value, we have captured value and created our own virtuous cycle of customer feedback loop in the way. And over time, you'll realize that all your earlier adopter customers will start giving you references, which will excite more customers, and the whole loop will start growing and the product will start growing. So these, I believe, are very important for product management. It's not just about creating value, but also knowing how to capture value. And things are never really clear for us. There's a lot of techniques available for each of the tech. I do blog about them. So follow me on LinkedIn if you're interested. And that would be it for now, Anna. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. There's a question. How does this strategy differ for a one-person product team at an early stage startup?
Okay, one person, I've been in that role. So you just have to be very open and willing to play all those roles. So in the front, in the first phase, you are the person calling these people. The second phase, so it's literally, I'm the customer support person, call these people, get their input. Second step now, let me just quickly go back to that framework. Second step now, I become a true product manager. I'm looking through all the needs and figuring out which ones I'll pick up, right? Then I become a marketing person. I'm now reaching the right customer. So literally, you are it. I mean, if you are a product manager, think of yourself in many ways as the CEO of the company. I mean, of course, sales, marketing, engineering, everybody is working, but in many ways, they are working for the product that you're leading, right? So you have to be able to liaison with each of them, and you have to be able to and willing to really step up. And I mean, nothing is wrong. So if you talk to an early stage CEO, one day he's the cleaner in the kitchen, the second day he's leading like a multi-million-dollar deal with a VC. You are really similar in many ways for your product, not for the company.
There's one more question, but we don't have time for it. Manisha, if you actually see it, I would love for you to answer. That question is, how do you suggest we get customer endorsements in a B2C product? But I will have to bring Neil, who is our next speaker. So if you could answer it in chat, that would be amazing. Thank you so much.
I will, Anna. Thanks a lot. Take care then.
Thanks. All right, guys. So that leads us to, if you signed up for a VIP ticket, if you hold a VIP ticket, we have 15 minutes of a break, and then we will actually be going into another Zoom session. It's separate and different from this one. But if you do not have a VIP ticket, this is the end of your event. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you being here with us this whole day. And yeah, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We will be sending out a survey in the next 24 hours. Look for it. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, please go to our website, www.daringlyepic.com. Also, you can contact us directly to learn more about our events. And yeah, hope to see you guys at other events and in the VIP session. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.